year was 1947, the year of the Kon Tiki expedition. Thor Heyerdahl was about to become famous the world over as an explorer, a scientist and a navigator. That historic voyage came to an abrupt end when the ocean hurled the primitive raft up onto a reef in the South Pacific. But this was no failure. From every point of view, it was a triumphant success. Half a century later, another enterprising Norwegian, Thor Heyerdahl, started to compare Heyerdahl's original notes with some newly discovered sketches of early navigation. He showed his findings to Olav, Thor Heyerdahl's grandson. The idea for a new Kon Tiki was born. They would call it after the Polynesian god of the sea, Tangaroa. Centuries ago, the coastal people of Peru and Ecuador discovered that balsa wood was the ideal material for their rafts and fishing vessels. In those far-off days, the trees grew in profusion throughout the great forests between the Andes and the Pacific. Today, those forests have all but vanished to make room for man-made plantations and settlements. And with their disappearance, the rivers have started to dry up as well. Today, balsa trees are cultivated on plantations. To get the logs they need, the crew of the Tangaroa must persuade one of the largest timber producers in Ecuador. It's not difficult. This is precisely the region Thor Heyerdahl visited to find his balsa wood for the Kon Tiki.
Aj, 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 så stor när man kommer nära. Då ser man hur stor den är. Ja?
Det här treet har 323 centimeter i omkrets.
Så det är den största stocken?
Ja, det är 1 meter i diameter. Det är större än de största stockarna på Kon Tiki. Så det bör hålla. Mm.
The lightness and buoyancy of balsa wood make it ideal for raft building. It's at its best when the trees are 6 years old. After that, the quality gradually deteriorates. Tangaroa will be larger and carry more weight than Kon Tiki. Core tests must be taken before the trees are cut down to check the quality of each individual log.
Oj, vad där kommer det.
Du må liksom skru den 2 för att få ut det. Kärna i bunnen är ganska ubruklig. Este master rojo.
Este no vale.
Sí.
Este no vale.
Hvis vi ikke skaffer bedre balsestokker enn Kon Tiki, så vil vi enten ligge svært lavt i vannet på grunn av tyngda, eller vi kan også risikere at vi må hive ting over bord.
Ja, nå kommer han. Fy faen. Perfekto! Jordsalv! Å, jævlig moro. Fy faen. Kjetter du rist der bakken? Ja, fantastisk.
Hvis vi bruker den biten her,
så er den 16 meter.
Så er den
16,5.
16 meter. Det betyr at vi har midtstokk.
Ja.
Midtstokken er sikker.
Ser dimensjonen nå.
Om vi har hatt i 3 måneder, så sitter vi på de stokkene her. Stille.
Surra sammen med Manila Ham.
Thor Heyerdahl was able to float his logs all the way down the Raiatea River to the ocean. Immersion in fresh water at this stage protects the balsa wood from shipworm when the logs are exposed to seawater later on. The people of this region still remember the excitement when the logs for Kon Tiki were floated down the river all those years ago. Today, 60 years later, the water is far too low for the journey to start here. The logs would be trapped on the sandbanks just below the surface. This time the timber will have to be transported by road to a place downstream where the water's deeper. At the little town of Vinces, halfway to the ocean, at last the logs can be put to the test in the water.
Det är utroligt deilig å se stokkene I vannet, og se at de flyter akkurat så bra som vi hadde håpet på. Utrolig lettelse.
At this stage, armed guards, provided by the Ecuadorian Navy, take charge of the operation. It'll be 2 more days before the logs reach the ocean.
Adios, Vinces!
From here, they must be transported from Guayaquil in Ecuador across the border to Callao in Peru, where the raft will be constructed. Back in 1947, Kon Tiki sailed from this same port of Callao. Thor Heyerdahl had calculated that the Humboldt current would not prove too much of a problem before he had the chance to take advantage of the western equatorial current that would carry him towards Tahiti. Even in Thor Heyerdahl's time, the Peruvian authorities thought it would be much safer to build Kon Tiki inside the naval shipyard. Now they're happy to offer the same protection for Tangaroa. But this time, the raft will be built on the quayside, not in the water. Captain Bjarne Krekvik and First Mate Øyvind Løten fly in from Norway to play their part in the construction of the raft.
Och så tar vi den, eller den, den eller den. Den lägger vi mellan.
The plan had always been to start the voyage on the 28th of April, the same day that Kon Tiki set sail. This would enable them to chart how Tangaroa was progressing day by day, in comparison to its illustrious predecessor. To manage this, Tangaroa must be fitted out in just 5 weeks. To give the raft a chance to sail as planned, the shipyard assigns 5 extra men to help with the construction.
Okay, tighten afterwards.
As a gesture of goodwill, they've decided that the last member of the Tangaroa crew will be a South American. Roberto is chosen for them by the Peruvian Navy. It's not enough just to copy the techniques of coastal Indians from 1,000 years ago. They must also try to understand them. Most important of all will be the rigging and steering gear for Tangaroa. Captain Bjarne is a world authority on ancient sailing craft. By working with replicas of Viking ships, he studied the methods of the Old Norse seafarers, who used a very similar type of rigging.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ya, que baje poquito, poquito.
Bueno.
However, using bamboo for the boom will be an entirely new experience for them all.
Det I hvert fall ikke nok med en, nei. Jeg prøvde litt, og jeg kjente det var litt veldig mjuk her. Altså.
Ja, det tynt og sånt her.
Ja.
Må vi til med 3 da.
It's April the 28th, the scheduled day of departure, and Tangaroa is ready at last. The 18-ton vessel takes to the air before being tested on the water.
Han stor I lufta, svær.
Det ble en vakker flåte og en nydelig rigg.
Hvor høyt vil han flyte I vannet? Det spørsmålet. Vil vi ha fribord, eller vil vi ikke?
I am anxious just to put it on the water and begin to sail with a raft.
Det ble større både når vi fikk på selve flåta og fikk opp riggen, det var større enn jeg trodde. Men jeg synes det harmonerer godt.
Personal, for me, it's going to be a great adventure.
My favorite sweet.
I feel that this is one of the greatest days of my life, really. My son is repeating an adventure undertaken by my father. In a way, I'm a little envious, but I identify myself very much with my son now. I'm not afraid, not worried, but a little bit excited.
Pan con pescado, papá Daniela. Pan con pescado, papá. Pan con pescado.
Nu vill de ha oss på plats.
Ja.
Och du redo?
Jeg helt klar, ja.
Har vi allt med?
Problemet mitt nå hvis jeg stopper nå, så tror jeg detter.
Men har vi har allt som vi skulle
Skal overleve.
Ja.
Det vi har glemt, det har vi da, må vi fikse på et annet vis.
Ja. Hva stikker vi?
The original Kon Tiki had drifted north with the Humboldt current before reaching the equatorial stream which would take her in a westerly direction. Tangaroa will try to cut a corner and find the shortest way across the Pacific. But in fact they spent the first few days drifting north just as Kon Tiki did.
A little bit seasick. So I just have to check the horizon once in a while.
Raise it like this. Try to raise it like this.
Like that.
1,000 years ago, seafarers used balsa wood rafts to transport their goods up and down the South American coast. But the knowledge of exactly how they did it has been lost in the mists of time. Ancient drawings seem to indicate that the rafts were steered using adjustable centerboards or guara, which were slotted in vertically between the balsa logs. The interplay between the guara boards and the sail should determine the direction and stability of the raft. It's a difficult and demanding skill that the crew have yet to master.
Sånn. Så vi må starte helt på nytt. Så vi må ta forsiktige skritt fremover og merke oss alle de endringene vi finner ut etter hvert. Så dette er ikke gjort på en dag, men vi har 3 måneder, og da kan vi skrive en ny lærebok.
Oi!
There you can see. Oh!
No.
Fingers.
The hook. Pass. We have to make some ropes.
Is it possible to get here?
Oh, it's floating.
Watch your finger.
Good.
Lift it a bit. It's not sinking.
Now you can see what happened. Can you see the changing of the course?
Du gjorde fan.
Det
går rett opp I vind. Vi gikk rett opp I vind.
Ja, nå har vi sett dem så mye fremme at nå går
de opp I vind.
Opp I vind.
Gradually, the raft swings round towards the west. For the first time, the crew will be able to test how the sail and the guara boards function together.
Heis! Ok. Ta opp et bord bak.
Gjør det.
Ja.
Det må vi vidt oppe.
Man får ikke vannet.
Ja.
Og seile.
Vi kan speed. Kommer nå.
Little by little. We are changing course little by little.
Solid charts of Polynesia, the South Pacific east of 165 west longitude. Hit skal vi. Sastrenene her skal vi besøke da.
Først om gutta synes det for mye saltvann I brødet.
The crew have calculated they'll be at sea for 100 days. That means one loaf of bread every second day, fruit, vegetables, and some dry rations donated by the American Navy. Just like Kon Tiki in 1947. In reality, they have enough food for 70 days. Only the water supply will last for 100. They've based their calculations on catching enough fish for at least one meal a day.
To be honest, I don't think we can have it anyway. Too big. This is not like the cod I've been fishing in the north. This is something else. But remember to keep the gear high, yeah, like that.
Be careful, be careful.
Is it a shark? Sorry. Ikke det Dorado, jo. Ja, det så Dorado.
Is that shark?
No, it's Dorado.
It's big, it's really big.
Det var ikke snøret det stod på.
Nei, men it was nice.
It was nice, as long as it lasts. But there's more fish in the ocean. I know.
Captain Bjarne is getting worried about parts of the rigging. Will the ropes and centreboards be able to withstand the constant battering of the waves? There's only one way to make sure. On Kon Tiki, this was done by simply holding one man over the side by his feet. If they saw a shark, he could be quickly pulled out of the water. But so far, the crew of Tangaroa have yet to see a single shark. Olav decides to take a chance and dive in. The long guara boards are made of the hardest wood available, but even so they're showing signs of wear and tear. The relentless ocean is taking its toll.
Vi har 3 reservegårder.
But first you have to do is to take up that one, one step, and regulate behind. Then we have got that problem. What shall we do? With these ones especially.
Bjarne decides to make adjustments to all the guara boards. He thinks they may have been set too low in the water. But as soon as the crew make any changes, immediately the balance is upset.
Det är mye action for en som ikke aldri har sagt før.
Nå har jeg lyst til å prøve lens med lite foran der. Nå skal guaraborda opp akter! Nei, det gutter, det går ikke.
Okay.
Drawing on his many years' experience on Viking ships, Bjarne decides to set the mast a little further towards the stern. This gives the crew a second chance to balance the sail, the mast and the guara boards. It's a delicate and difficult operation.
When we stop and begin to go backwards, then we have to put guara boards down in the aft and up in the front. Upp med guarabordet, ned med guarabordet bak. Jeg skal ta ned.
Ok. Ned med borda bak. Ja. Down. Hold inne og hold. Så da. Kommer vi? Ja, det gjør vi faen meg, det løfter det. Der, haha! Ja!
To the crew's immense relief, Tangaroa is heading westward once again. They've been at sea for just 2 weeks, and already 1/5 of the voyage has been completed. Tangaroa is 350 nautical miles, or 650 kilometers, ahead of the Kon Tiki at the same point in her journey. At long last, the crew are beginning to feel that they know what they're doing. Tangaroa is on the right course and sailing at a very good speed.
Roberto, here it says that the record on Kon Tiki was 71 nautical miles in 24 hours.
21?
Yeah, and we had that now for the 7th day in a row.
Aha.
means that our raft is doing the Kon Tiki record every day.
Every day.
But when you take on the might of the ocean, nothing is ever going to be easy. The boom has broken, and a rope has become entangled with the top of the mast. If the sail is to be saved, Bjarne must go aloft and try to release it. This time, luck is on their side. The bamboo is so pliable that the boom hasn't sheared off completely. If that had happened, the sail would have come crashing down. A disaster for crew and raft alike. It might even have been lost over the side.
Now we have some work to do.
When they tested the boom during construction, Bjarne thought the bamboo was so soft that 3 branches lashed together would be sufficient. Now he and Olav decide to splice the damaged boom with planks from the broken guara boards. With luck, this should distribute the load more evenly and even make the boom stronger. Far out in the Pacific, with the only timber at their disposal, it's the best they can do.
Ready to hoist the sail! Hoist!
Jeg tror vinden har dreid. I vår favør.
Wait. Careful. Come on, baby.
Quite big. Really nice color. Really bad. That's another one. We need it. No. Oi, look at the color. It's strange. Yeah. Strange.
You will be busy tomorrow making food.
You too.
One of Øyvind's most important tasks is to collect bile from the gallbladders of fish. In due course, this will be analysed in different universities.
Mer enn nok.
Throughout the voyage, Tangaroa has had special test equipment hanging underneath the raft. A thin layer of film, which absorbs pollutants, has to be changed every 3rd week. The aim is to track the spread of invisible poisons, many of them man-made, that can affect the fertility of fish, birds and animal life. Once in the water, the ocean currents can distribute them over vast distances. After 45 days, Kon Tiki was halfway from Peru to French Polynesia. On exactly the same day, Tangaroa has completed 2/3 of the voyage. If they can maintain this speed, the crew will reach the nearest islands of the South Pacific in another 3 or 4 weeks. This will be much faster than Kon Tiki. On a previous occasion, Olav went diving in shark-infested waters off the coast of Africa. He's thinking about taking his chances once again. On board Kon Tiki, they were visited by whales and sharks almost daily. Whenever anyone wanted to take a dip in the ocean, they had to make sure there were no dangerous predators circling the raft. But this time it's been different. So far, the crew of Tangaroa have not seen a single shark. Olav is busy hanging the leftovers from dinner overboard, in the hope of attracting a few. It's June the 20th. For 54 days they've been making steady progress across the Pacific. But now, at last, the ocean lives up to its name. There's no wind at all. Only the current keeps Tangaroa moving forward in a westerly direction.
31 nautiske mil siste døgn.
Wow.
Da det...
Det bunnrekord, det ikke det?
Bunnrekord. All time low.
Når vi fortsetter det sånn som det her, så blir det enda en bunnrekord, tror jeg.
Denne farten her, så vil det ta 30 døgn å komme til Raiatea.
Og mer?
Ja, med siste døgns fart.
Wow. Ta livet med ro da i dag.
The raft and the ocean have become accustomed to each other. Small fish have made their home under the balsa logs, and shoals of Dorado are attracted by this floating reef. In the footsteps of his grandfather, this is becoming Olav's world, his natural environment. Olav thinks he's spotted something, breaking the surface of the water. A shark, at last. He prepares the underwater camera, but the captain is having serious second thoughts.
Så liten har jeg angriper ikke, så stor om meg, vet du.
Ja, altså, liten, men den kan jo ta en bit, altså.
Når Doradoen tør å svømme rett baken, så... Når han ikke redd for å bli angripet, vil ikke angripe meg heller.
Men jeg har ikke noe lyst til å gjøre det.
Ja, jeg skal I hvert fall stikke huet mitt under og se om han under her. Det skal jeg.
Der borte.
Nei, jeg var festet.
Hæ?
Jeg var festet. Jeg hadde ikke nærmere for nei der.
Jeg hadde ikke...
Bare for å... Jeg hadde bare tenkt å hoppe ut det. Jeg spurte egentlig bare for å høre mer her.
Ja, nei, jeg hadde ikke noe god magefølelse på det, så jeg...
Det var ikke noen overraskelse at det skulle bli haidykking når det kom hai her.
Nei, men jeg får vurdere neste gang. Men også... Hva risikoen? Hvem ansvarlig hvis noe skjer?
Jeg er bare skuffet, altså. Det er mulig at du har rett, men jeg er jævla skuffet nå.
Midsummer's day, and still there's no sign of any wind. Tangaroa is virtually becalmed. Olav has prepared a little surprise.
Det driv inne?
Nei, nesten ikke. Bare dytt litt ut.
Ja.
As the light begins to fade, their rare and solitary visitor puts in a second appearance. The shark tastes the fish supper that's been prepared for him, then vanishes, this time for good.
Oh, beautiful!
Next day, to everyone's delight, the wind is back. The sea god Tangaroa has answered their prayers. They can begin to count the days to their first objective, the island of Raiatea in French Polynesia. It was there that Kon Tiki was thrown up onto a reef 101 days after setting sail from Peru. Tangaroa has been quicker, but by how much?
Med det tempoet vi har nå, da, så vil vi sikkert øke på Kon Tiki enda mer, sånn at framme på Raiatea, så at vi en 25 dager før, i hvert fall.
Attempting to make a safe landfall, Kon Tiki drifted helplessly towards the coral island. The crew just managed to send out a radio message before huge breakers flung the raft up onto a reef. Without guara boards, she was at the mercy of the ocean. The mast and cabin were reduced to matchwood, but miraculously the great balsa wood logs held firm. The crew managed to salvage some of the equipment, most importantly the radio transmitter. Within hours, the whole world knew that they were safe and triumphantly successful. The Tangaroa crew have become quite proficient at using the guara boards to manoeuvre the raft. But ahead of them lies the last and most difficult part of the voyage. Before charting a course through the many rocks, reefs and islands that lie to the southwest, Bjarne decides to put their skills to the test by sailing the raft all the way round Raiatea. As Tangaroa approaches the dangerous lee side of the island, they hear the ominous sound of breakers.
Welcome to Raiatea! Congratulations!
Almost at once, the wind dies down, giving them no chance to manoeuvre Tangaroa close to the shore. With the last and most difficult section of the voyage still ahead of them, Bjarne's taking no chances. The decision is made to go ashore in a small boat.
$70 days.
Ja.
Fjell! Jord! Stein!
Er det helt god, eller?
Det smakar jävla friskt och fint.
It looks as if the entire population of Raiatea, numbering about 100 or so, is waiting for them on the shoreline. Some of them can still remember the arrival of Kon Tiki half a century earlier. For the crew of Tangaroa, the welcome is just as warm.
So, Thor Tiki, please. Stay Thor Tiki.
The crew were about to meet a rather special man. When Kon Tiki reached the island in 1947, Rongo was a 9-year-old boy.
Yes, I look this European coming this my island.
At that time, a large abscess was making him very ill. With no doctor or medicine on the island, he was expected to die. But Knut Haugland, the Kon Tiki wireless operator, managed to make contact with an amateur radio enthusiast in Los Angeles, who immediately got in touch with a doctor. Instructions were passed back to Knut by Morse code, who performed an operation on the boy and saved his life.
He finished this my head. This day 2006, I rest.
The moment has come. Now they must face the ultimate test. Tangaroa is much more manoeuvrable than her predecessor Kon Tiki. Even so, for any kind of sailing ship, the waters of the Tuamotu archipelago are some of the most difficult in the world. In some parts, the sea is 2,000 meters deep. In others, the treacherous reefs lie just below the surface. As a result, the currents are dangerous and unpredictable. Most sailing boats avoid the region altogether. But Bjørnar proposes to steer the raft right through the middle.
Okay. Han är ett fot här framme. Helvete! Här fot! Pasta. Ja.
Ja, vi ska få lite. Ja.
Så är det Olav. Nu har vi fått kursen som vi vill ha.
Men på den kursen här, hur långt ut ligger vi då?
Nej, 2-3 nautiske mil nå. Det synes vi må ha.
Ja.
For at nå går strømmen sånn, og fyller opp atollen på grunn av vannet stig.
Ja, det blir jævla spennende når vi kommer oss rundt kanten og ser hvordan vi greier å holde på kurs. Eller om vi må slippe oss enda en gang nord.
Ja. Men det med spenningen her, vet du, det går så lenge for å bli utløst. Ja. Det går et halvt døgn, et døgn, og så er ny spenning, et døgn igjen. Så
At the end of a week in which their skills with the raft have been tested to the limit, Tangaroa has emerged intact on the other side of the notorious archipelago. At last, they're within sight of their final destination, Raiatea. Friends and families that they last saw in Peru have been gathering here to welcome them.
Egentlig fryktelig godt fornøyd, for det at som skipper så hadde du ansvaret for å få farkost og folk over Stillehavet og hit. Og vi lærte oss etter hvert å bruke rigg og guarabord riktig, klarte å navigere nøyaktig. Det er kanskje den beste følelsen for meg.
Tangaroa has been at sea for nearly 3 months. The crew are about to spend their last day under sail before disembarking. The adventure of a lifetime is nearly over.
Nå har vi greid det som vi trodde vi skulle greie. Vi har seilt til Raiatea. Vi har kommet oss videre derfra gjennom Tuamotu-gruppen og helt fram til Raiatea.
Det har vært helt utrolig, sånn å være ute på Stillehavet. Det er ingenting annet enn hav. Sola kommer opp bak deg og går ned foran deg. Om natta så er det en kuppel med stjerner.
Lugnet og ensomheten ute på den store oceanen, den delen har vært fantastisk. Helt fantastisk.
You get rich about this experience in many areas, about the patience and to take the things more slow, and to live with this way of thinking that we are on the same boat and we got to take care of each other.
Det å gå tilbake til sivilisasjonen, det merker jeg allerede. Altså, det er ikke bare lett. Altså. Jeg har alltid likt meg der ute. Nå finner jeg ro.